in heaven. And,
Hello?
even going to the moon and that stuff. The first
Hello.
people.
Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So I'm back from Scamblesby, and what a trip that is. It's a very great experience for me to simply enjoy a dark sky with little light pollution and to meet with astronomers and astrophotographers there. So during the event, I took images of the Bode and Cigar Galaxy using my Dwarf 2 Smart Telescope. And in this video, I'm going to process the image of these galaxies that I took during the event. So let's go. So, I have uploaded the photos of M81 the Bode Galaxy from yesterday, the East Lincolnshire Astronomy Club meeting. So, before I do any processing, I will organize those photos in a folder like this, so that it gets organized. And of course, if you don't do it, it will be quite a nightmare when you're processing. So the first step, I'm going to stack all these fit files. So what I'll do is, I've already opened the Deep Sky Stacker. So the first step you want to do is click Open Picture Files. And you want to select all the fit files I've just uploaded here. So yeah, the Dwarf 2 Smart Telescope is really good that after you've captured it, you can just take out the SD card, and which it has saved all the fit files onto the SD card, and just plug them onto the computer and you can transfer the files. So I'm just gonna select all the fit files. I've selected there, and then click open. And so I just want to click on each photo there. So obviously the default view is quite black, but I can just drag this slider here and then drag it to the left, and then you can reveal what's in there, the photo. So you can see the galaxy core and the Cigar Galaxy and the Bode Galaxy. So before I do any further, I will add some dark files as well. So dark files are just basically the frames that you stack together with the light frames, which is the photo of the star, the galaxy, or the nebulae that you've took. But for the dark frames, it will stack alongside the light frames for removing hot pixels, which I found is the dark frames are pretty useful. So this is the dark frame that I took earlier on. I can still use it. So I'm going to select these 30 frames. Click open. And so now I have all the light frames and the dark frames. So you also see the preview of the photo now. So I've dragged the slider. So the first you want to do is you want to rate all these photos. So to rate, it gives you like a score in here, so it will be very useful too. I'll explain it later. So to rate those photos, you gotta click register check pictures, and make sure you uncheck the stack after registering, because right now I just want the software to register to rate the photos, not for stacking yet. but I would check the automatic detection of hot pixels as well. And then on the advanced tab, so use automatic threshold. So I could try this, but before that I'm gonna click this compute the number of detected stars. So I click here, it says 58 stars. Maybe I shouldn't use the automatic threshold here. Maybe I should just click this slider here. And then reduce noise by using median filter. Yeah, there we go. So it has detected like 129 stars on like 1% star detection threshold. I mean, well, if you look at the preview here, you can say that it has like 129 stars in this single shot. So I can tell it's okay. So I can proceed now. The only problem is if you turn the star detection threshold too high and then it detects 0 stars, obviously it's not going to work. So now here 129 is good. This one 81. But I will stay with the 1% star detection threshold. So obviously you don't want this to detect too many stars or too few stars. So obviously either way it's not going to work, but I will stick with this. So let's click OK and it will run the rating process. Alright, so the rating has finished. So now you can check there's a score line here which tells you like about the quality of each frames. So let me just sort this score here. So obviously like the higher the score, the better the image is. So I can check to each image to see which one's good, which one's bad. Now, like generally, a lower score doesn't necessarily mean that an image is like bad or whatnot, but let's say if there's an image with a significantly lower score than the rest, let's find if there are any. Let's say like this one, there are a few frames where only like 4.68 score. And like something like this, and you look at it and it's really crap. So whenever if you find like an image with a lower score, yeah, or with like star trails, and then the score reflects it. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna right click and then just remove from list. Then in this way, this image won't be included in the final stack. Remove. So and then I remove this one because it looked really awful. I mean these three, right? I can tell there's a little bit star trails here. So like these three, I might as well delete this. So those removed won't be included in the final stack. So all these frames are checked. So what we'll do, so I'm gonna click this again, register check photos. And then it always defaultly, like by default, it checks the register on already registered pictures. But no, we're just gonna uncheck this, because what it will do is it's gonna rate all these photos again, which we already have done, so it will be a waste of time. But this time, check the stack after registering. So click, and now I might go on to the settings there. So recommend settings. So I'll pretty much leave this in default settings because they're pretty good. So yeah, light frames, Kappa Sigma, and the master dark medium Kappa Sigma. Yeah, good. Click OK, and I go to the stack settings, and I want standard mode. So, and I go to light frames, Kappa Sigma clipping, which is what I use so that it will remove any like interfering aircraft or anything inconsistent between the frames. And then background calibration, I set to no. So move on to dark, medium, Kappa Sigma clipping, and then I also check the hot pixel detection and removal, and then no flat, no bias, and then alignment, automatic, good. I'll pretty much leave this in default. Intermediate files. Yeah, I want this to be stacked in fit format, which is good. Cosmetic, I'll leave it. And then output here. So I would create output files. So after the stacking has been completed, the software will automatically save a file, and then we'll put it in a folder. So what folder do I want the software to put the stack image in? So I'm going to choose it in here. So click here. I want it to be saved in the folder I've created. So M81, I will want it to save in stack, and then the M81 folder, the stack folder. Click select, and so I'm telling the software that I want you to stack this image and then save it onto this location. And finally here, so check use all available processors, and then check this SIMD factorization, and then all the settings are done. So I will click OK, and then click OK as well. So, and then stacking step 1. So I'm stacking 370 frames, gain 80, and the total exposure time after the stacking is completed will be an hour and a minute. So this process will use 18.9 gigabytes on the C drive. So yeah, the more frames you've got, like the fit files or the other raw files, the more frames you got, the more gigabytes it's going to be used. So make sure to have plenty of gigabytes before you activate any stacking procedures. And I've checked it now, everything's good. I'll click OK and just wait for the software to stack. Okay, so the stacking has been completed. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use 0 for the post-processing. Yes, so we're now in 0. So the first thing we want to do is click this home directory, so the working directory. So I'm going to click this and set the directory to the folder I just created with the stack photo here. So click open. So whatever, like when it save photos, then it would by default use this folder for saving the photos that I've edited. So now we're going to open the stack image. So click open, and now we'll use the autosave file that is saved from the Deep Sky Stacker. So click open. So I want to switch the view to auto stretch mode. So now obviously this is just to change the previewed mode, so the image is not actually being stretched yet. But just to bear in mind, the linear mode is what the image currently looks like. So all the image, like whatever software you stack of a deep sky, it always looks black at first. This is normal because we haven't dealt with the data yet. So you click on auto stretch to see what you need to work on. So it looks a bit like green at first. I might use the unlink stretch. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna do the background extraction. So smoothing 60, and then just generate it. And we'll compute the background to see what it looks like. I think it looks good. There's not much of a background to extract because, well, mostly the background, like the artifact comes from like light pollution. But the sky is dark there when I took it. So click apply. And then what I want to do is remove green noise because it's so like green in here. We don't want that. So remove green noise. Click apply. There we go. So now go to image processing. We are now doing the color calibration, photometric color calibration now. So in this tab, just type in the object that you took. So in this photo, I took the M81 Galaxy. So I'm gonna type the catalog number, M81. Click find, and then hello, so welcome back. I am right now in 0. So the first thing I want to do here is check the working directory. So as you can see, the working directory is selected to this folder, which is where I want, and so any image that I save would be in this folder, which is where I want. So yeah, I'm gonna click open. So if you click here in the console tab, you can see like I've set up the CWD, which is the working directory, to this folder where I want. So yeah, every step that I make in 0, like no matter this working directory or the image processing, it will be shown in this console as a log. So now I'm gonna open the image that I stacked. So yeah, this is the image that has been saved from Deep Sky Stacker. So I'm gonna click and open. So first I'm gonna change the view to auto stretch mode, not linear, because linear is just a black one. Oops. So auto stretch. So you see there are lots of details here in the galaxy and the stars, but the image looks very green. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna click this button to make it an unchained auto stretch mode. So now what I'm going to do is I will crop the image a bit to remove the edges, which look a little bit nasty in my opinion. So select and then click crop. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to perform background extraction. So for this I leave this in default. Smoothing I turn it to 0.6. Click generate. So yeah, it looks good. I'm going to click compute background. Yeah, looks good. Click apply. So the background has been smoothened out a bit. And the next thing I will do is I'm going to remove green noise. So click apply. And you see the galaxy, the colors start to become more and more natural there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the color calibration, photometric color calibration. So in here I'm going to type the catalog number of the object in the image here. So this is the Bode Galaxy, which is M81. So I will type M81. Click find, and then click this. And the focal length and pixel size 0 should be able to detect the focal length and pixel size from the metadata of the image. If not, then I'm gonna input the data manually and then click OK, and it has been calibrated. Click close. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to really stretch the image. So bear in mind that I have not done any stretching here, because this is just a preview of the image. So I'm gonna click that back to linear mode so you can see everything is not stretched. But now to stretch, I will first use the histogram here, histogram transformation. Click this button for an auto stretch. Click apply, click close. And then I'm gonna adjust the contrast here. So which is the BP shift here, like black point. So I will drag the slider a bit more. I think that looks fine. Obviously you don't want to overdo it, because it will clip the shadows and the highlights and some of the details of the galaxy. So you don't want that. So that looks fine. I will click apply and close. So what I'm going to do is I will save this image, but that is not the final edit yet. So I'm gonna save this as M81 stretched .fit. So I will save this as a fit file, and then I will click save and save. So what